Sun is shining and the river is deep. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Wednesday morning, everybody. How is everybody doing this morning? Good to see you all. Welcome into the live. Thank you so much for coming. It's another morning. And you all know why we gather here at this time of the morning. But we know that with the internet as it is, there is always somebody new. There is always somebody who has never heard of us, who has never been over here, who has no understanding of what we are about. So we always have to remind them. Either we are reminding them or we are telling the newbies what we are about. Okay, so welcome into the live, guys. Those of you who are new here, a very, very, very special welcome to you. Thank you so much for stopping by. And to all my returning travelers, I want to say thank you for your continued support. Now, back to those of you who are new here. Here on my channel, I do just about anything I'm doing. And I feel like sharing it, I share it. But for the last 2 years or so, we've been primarily taking a close look at the Bible with no affiliation to religion or denomination, just the fact that the Bible has been presented to me as my moral guide. I have decided to read it. I think it's imperative that I read it and not just be selective in my reading and choose a couple verses or a couple chapters to be familiar with and then forget about the others. I just think that would have done me a great disservice, like it has 98% of people who call themselves Christians and call themselves to be following the Bible. They have only selected a few verses and a few chapters from it, but have never taken the time to read the book at all. So I am on the contrary to that idea. So I've decided that I'm going to be reading it from the beginning to the end to familiarize myself with its contents. And so I started this journey about 2.5 years ago. And some of you who are here now have been with me this whole time. And I sincerely, sincerely appreciate you all. And now, for those of you who might be new, when you come in, you are welcomed to share any additional literature that you have come across that might add some substance, some clarification, or justification for something that you may hear me read and talk about. I know some people have that inclination to come on here, and like most Christians, they don't want to hear anybody say they have a problem with anything that is said in the Bible. And this sort of causes to arise some kind of demon in them that tells them that they should come in your chat, tell you you're blaspheming, you're going to hell, you, all these things. Please, please, of all the places you want to go to spew that kind of rhetoric, let it not be let it not be in my comment section, please. Let it not be let it not be on my live, please. Because I am not teaching you what is in the Bible. I am no theologian. I am no religious authority. I am a simple, ordinary woman who have decided to take on this journey for me, and I have chosen to share this journey openly with the world. So for those of you who can't be bothered with reading, don't like to read, think the Bible is too confusing, it has too many books and the words and the language, and you just can't be bothered, I'm here for you. I'll read and you listen. Fair enough? Fair enough. All right. And here I find some of my special people rolling in. AG, is that you? Andrea. But Andrea says she wake up and she can't go back to sleep. Why would you want to go back to sleep when you know I already can't sleep? I'm always, but for some reason, sometimes the tire just takes me in a stranglehold. Because, sister, I tell you, last night, I've been busy for the last 2 weeks. I've been busy driving like crazy and coming back and going to work, working all night and staying up in the day and doing this, that, the other. And I tell you, yesterday was no different. I was up and about, but I tell you, last night from around 8 o'clock, there was this burden on me, child. I couldn't move. It was Tuesday night, and if no other night on a Tuesday night, I gotta come up here. Last night, sister here couldn't move. Believe me, I could not move. I was so tired. I just felt like, wow. The sleep took me away from like 8 o'clock. And when I woke up, when the clock alarmed at 4 o'clock this morning, I woke up and I still didn't feel like I had rested enough. And you all know, normally 4 o'clock, I'm up and about and feeling energized and all. But this morning, I tell you, it seemed like all that driving really, really caught up with me. Andrea said, my crash come, my body tired. Trust me, sis. Believe me. That's the only way I could describe it. I said clearly, clearly my body crashed because I was so tired. I couldn't believe it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But I woke up this morning not feeling too badly. And I just said, okay, all right, I'm up. I said, okay, I am up and ready. So we got to get it. Yeah, sometimes, after you run your body for a couple of days, that's why you see some people, they live on this coffee. Because you see, when they get tired, they sort of trick their body into believing that they are not tired. And they use the coffee to mask that fatigue. And so they keep going and going and going and going. And then their body never get a chance to really show its true colors, if you will. But I'm not a fan of coffee. It's on a very, very rare occasion that I might sip some coffee. on a rare occasion. I'm not a fan of coffee. Coffee gives you palpitation. Coffee is not the healthiest thing for you. And you all know, I know I ain't gonna live forever. I know I ain't gonna come back after I die, but I still don't want to use my teeth to dig my grave. You know what I mean? So things like coffee, I stay away from. There are the odd times when I feel like I need a little stimulant. I need to stay up a little bit to get something done. I might sip a little coffee, but that's about it. But anyway, we are here. We are here this morning. Robert is here. Nana, Yadon, Katie, Roy, CJ, Vicky, Ohio girl is here. Paula, John. Welcome, guys. Thank you all for coming. Yeah. AG, how are you doing, my love? Good to see you. Welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. As always, stay safe wherever you are, my love. Okay. I see Navy Man, Chiniere, Luzmon James. Okay, so guys, we are going to be reading this morning from St. Matthew chapters 13. Is it 13 or is it 12? Is it 13 and 14? I think it is. Why didn't I get that act together this morning, guys? What has happened when you're tired? But anyway, it's okay. It's 12. It's 12. Did I write 12 in this, or did I write something else? Did I write 13 and 14? Or did I write 12 and 13? I'll check it out afterwards because it is supposed to be 12 and 13 because 13 is quite long. So I'm doing only 12 and 13 this morning. So you are welcome, guys. Get your book Bible or your Google Bible, whichever one it is that you have close by, and follow along with me. Just a little bit of I am a child of God. Welcome, I am a child of God. Just a little bit of a recap on what we read yesterday. Now, yesterday we saw 12 and 13. Okay, good. 12 and 13. That is what we are reading this morning. So just a little bit of a recap on what we read yesterday and what I discovered yesterday. Now, yesterday, guys, I had to admit it. You know, I thought I knew all the name of the disciples, you know. I thought I thought I knew all the names of the disciples from having been going to church since I was born. I thought so. But I was a little bit wrong. And I'm not afraid to admit it because yesterday when I was reading and I saw the name and I saw that name, Lebbeus, I was shocked because I didn't know that there was a disciple named Lebbeus. But now we know. So we can go back and I can tell you the names of the disciples. I'm starting to learn all the names of the disciples. Surprisingly enough, right, Desiree? And I'm sure we have people out here who would convert, condemn, and criticize you at the drop of a hat. If you say you didn't know something in the Bible, but you had been reading the Bible for a long time, but they themselves don't know. So the disciples, according to the book of Matthew, were Simon. He's the same one who is called Peter. So that's number one. Then there's Andrew, his brother. There's James. There's John, his brother. There's Philip, Bartholomew, Thomas, Matthew, another James, Lebbeus, another Simon, and Judas. That makes 12. But that Lebbeus, he got me in a stranglehold. Because I had never heard of him before. And we also saw from yesterday's reading where Jesus had told his disciples he was giving them that power to go out and heal the sick and cast out demons, etc. And he wanted them to journey throughout Israel. And I found that to be particularly interesting, that he told them to journey throughout Israel, but not to go into the other countries. So the other countries that surrounded Israel, he did not want the disciples to go into those countries. This made me think that his works at the time, I'm going to say at the time, that his works at the time were intended to benefit his people, who were the Jewish people. Because remember, Jesus was a Jew. And to make that more interesting, he told them that when they got into the houses, they needed to make sure that the people they were taking care of, in terms of whether they were going to, cast out demons or make these people well, if they were sick, or performed whatever miracle they were going to perform for these people, they needed to first ensure that these people were Jews. I found that to be rather interesting, that the disciples were instructed to verify who a person was before giving them that blessing. But anywho, it's written in the Bible now. No, don't go away and say Trev said it. Don't say I said it. Because it is not what I say. I am reading it from the good book. So this morning we are going to continue reading the book of Matthew. We're going to read chapters 12 and 13. Because at this point, Jesus is supposedly teaching. He's teaching the people, and he's performing all these miracles. He's raising the dead, he's healing the sick, he is doing all these things, and he has also empowered his disciples to do the same thing. And he's fully aware that the neighbors, the surrounding countries, the countries surrounding Israel, they have been adamant over the years to destroy the Jewish people. And so now it seems like the Jewish people are getting an upper hand, because now they have somebody amongst them who can do things that would cause envy among the enemies, the infidels, if you will, around them. Because to them, the Jewish people are not supposed to have anything, not supposed to be anything. There isn't supposed to be anybody who is worthy of anything. Remember when Nebuchadnezzar destroyed Israel and enslaved them, he was very particular about taking the people who were of intellectual value. He was very particular about that because he wanted those people to serve him in Babylon, to make Babylon great. Because I guess their greatness in Israel didn't deserve their greatness. Imagine that. So now, here is Israel with uh, this person who is now, all the people are following, he's performing miracles, and the people are ecstatic, and they are like, what is this now? It seems like we are going back on the map. Our society is being elevated again, because here we have somebody who everybody is following, and is garnering a lot of respect. And the people around didn't like that. So Jesus warned his disciples. He said, when you go out there, they are going to try to arrest you. We know that. When they arrest you, do not worry about what to say, because the words will be put in your mouth as to what to say to them. So don't worry about it now. Whenever they arrest you, if they arrest you, that word will be put in your mouth, and you will say the right thing. Okay? Let me see who else is here. Daniela. Corinne, is that you? Good morning. Good morning, Clifford. How are you doing? So let us start the reading for this morning. Let's see what else happened between Jesus and his people in Israel. St. Matthew chapter 12. At that time, Jesus went on the Sabbath day through the cornfield, and his disciples were an hungered, and began to pluck the ears of corn and to eat. But when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, Behold, thy disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Sabbath day. But he said unto them, Have ye not read what David did when he was a hungered, and they that were with him, how he entered into the house of God and did eat the shewbread, which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priests? Or have ye not read in the law how that on the Sabbath days the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless? But I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple. But if he had known what this means, I will have mercy and not sacrifice, he would not have condemned the guiltless. You see, so here he's telling them, the disciples they were hungry, walking through the cornfield, they ate the corn. But you see, the Pharisees are trying to find just about anything they can find to cause question and disregard Jesus's presence and what he's teaching. So they are scrutinizing him with a fine-tooth comb, and the people around him as well. So here they break the corn on the Sabbath day to eat because they're hungry. And the Pharisees seize that opportunity to condemn them for having broken the laws of their Sabbath by eating the corn, breaking the corn and eating it on the Sabbath. And Jesus gave them a lesson there. Didn't you know that David was hungry and he had gone into the temple to eat that bread. That bread wasn't for David to eat. That bread was only supposed to be eaten by the priest. But he was hungry. I mean, you are coming here blaming somebody, trying to find the fault, trying to condemn somebody, trying to make these people guilty for what? Let us continue. Verse 8. For the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath day. And when he was departed from there, he went into their synagogue. And behold, there was a man which had his hand withered. And they asked him, saying, Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath day? Oh, these people don't give up, do they? That they might accuse him. So you see, they are being diligent in their scrutiny of him and everything he says and everything he does, because their only intentions, is to discredit him and to tell the people, you see, I tell you, he ain't ish. I tell you, look at what he doing. Listen to what he say. He ain't nothing. He ain't nothing. So you all are just getting excited over a person who really isn't worth much. That is exactly what they're trying to say. But let us continue. Verse 11. And he said unto them, What man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep, and if it fall into a pit on the Sabbath day, will he not lay hold on it and lift it out? How much then is a man better than a sheep? Wherefore it is lawful to do well on the Sabbath days. Then said he to the man, Stretch forth thine hand. And he stretched it forth, and it was restored whole, like the other hand. Then the Pharisees went out and held a council against him, how they might destroy him. So you see, they keep coming at him with all kinds of things, scrutinizing his every action, his every word, but he always had a counter reaction for them. They didn't like that because they realized they can't break through. They can't break through to him with their criticism, and so now they have gotten together to determine, all right, what's the next approach? How are we going to attack him? Because we can't continue to have him here. All the Jews are following him. Now their following is growing. Lots of Jewish people are coming in who had left Israel and gone to exile themselves in other countries, gone to live someplace else because of the constant destruction of Israel. Now they felt comfortable to come back because Jesus was now gaining this huge following. The people around, they didn't like that. So now they were gathering themselves together again to determine what other approach they were going to employ to disrupt, if not destroy, this new movement. Let us continue. Verse 15 of chapter 12 says, But when Jesus knew it, he withdrew himself from there, and great multitudes followed him, and he healed them all, and charged them that they should not make him known, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, and that Isaiah is Isaiah the prophet, saying, Behold my servant whom I have chosen, my beloved, in whom my soul is well pleased. I will put my spirit upon him, and he shall shew judgment to the Gentiles. He shall not strive nor cry, neither shall any man hear his voice in the streets. A bruised reed shall be shall he not break, and smoking flax shall he not quench, till he send forth judgment unto victory, and in his name shall the Gentiles trust. Then was brought, let me mark right there, so let's continue. Verse 22. Then was brought unto him one possessed with a devil, blind and dumb, and he healed him, insomuch that the blind and dumb both spake and saw. And all the people were amazed and said, Is not this the one of David? But when the Pharisees heard it, they said, This fellow doth not cast out devils, but by Beelzebub, the prince of the devils. So here you see, they cannot stand the fact or the possibility that this Jesus, who is a Jew, is able to do all these things, to perform all these miracles, to make the dumb speak, to cast out demons, to make the blind to see. No, they believe that these powers only existed with their God, who is their God of the devil, Beelzebub. They believe that only him can do those things. So now they realize that there is competition in the house. They do not like that. And Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Now, you see what Jesus was saying here to the Pharisees. Because this Beelzebub is the prince of the devils. So here Jesus comes in with this parable unto the Pharisees. The Pharisees are saying, nobody else can cast out no devils around here. The only person who has control of devils over here who can cast them out is Beelzebub. So y'all don't believe what this Jesus is saying. And Jesus just spun it around on them. Says, well, a house divided can't stand. A city divided cannot stand. So if a devil is going to cast out devils, that's like him destroying himself. And he's right. If you are a devil yourself, why would you want to cast out devils? You would want to invite devils into your fold to come help build your kingdom. Fair enough? So that's what he was talking about when he said, a city divided cannot stand. But it's a parable that can be used in other circumstances. Hi Tracy, how are you doing? So let us continue. Let's read chapter 12, verse 26 again. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? And if I, by Beelzebub, cast out devils, by whom do your children cast them out? Therefore, they shall be your judges. But if I cast out devils by the Spirit of God, then the kingdom of God is come unto you. Or else, how can one enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he first bind this strong man, and then he will spoil his house? Okay, that's another great parable there. Like, if you're going into a strong man's house, if there is somebody who is very fortified, and you are trying to break into their house, the first thing you're going to want to do is to incapacitate that strong man, because then you run the risk of him overpowering you and destroying you before you can achieve your goal of destroying his house. And that's fair enough, don't you think? I think that's fair enough. You have to neutralize the threat before you can go on the attack. Hey, big girl Sophia, what's up? Let us continue. Verse 30. He that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scatters abroad. Wherefore I say unto you, all manner of sin and blasphemy shall be forgiven unto men, but the blasphemy against the Holy Ghost shall not be forgiven unto men. And whoever speaketh a word against the Son of Man, it shall be forgiven him. But whosoever speaketh against the Holy Ghost, it shall not be forgiven him, neither neither in this world, neither in the world to come. Verse 33. Either make the tree good and his fruit good, or else make the tree corrupt and his fruit corrupt. For the tree is known by his fruit. O generation of vipers, how can ye, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. A good man out of the good treasure of the heart brings forth good things, and an evil man out of the evil treasure brings forth evil things. But I say unto you, that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. Then certain of the scribes and of the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee. But he answered and said unto them, An evil and adulterous generation seeks after a sign, and there shall no sign be given to it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. God is here. God bless up yourself. Good morning. Happy Wednesday morning to you. Verse 40 of chapter 12. For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly. Now, this Jonas, if you notice, oftentimes in the Bible, the names of the same people are spelled differently. Because here they're talking about Jonah, the Jonah we know as the one who ended up in the whale's belly. This is the same Jonah he's talking about here, but he refers to him as Jonas. Verse 40 says, "For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. The men of Nineveh shall rise in judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it, because they repented at the preaching of Jonah. And behold, a greater than Jonah is here. The queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it. For she came from the uttermost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon. And behold, a greater than Solomon is here." Verse 43. Wait, something went wrong here. "When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walks through dry places, seeks rest, and finds none. Then he said, I will return into my house from whence I came out. And when he is come, he finds it empty, swept, and garnished. Then goeth he and taketh with himself 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. Even so shall it be also unto this wicked generation." Oh, that's enough. When an unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walks through dry places, seeking rest, but finds none. Then he returns into the house where he was. Is that house a figurative house? That means he returns into the man from whom he was cast out. That's my understanding right here. That when an unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walks through dry places, seeking rest, and he will find none. He'll return. That means that he's talking about is that unclean spirit. It will return to that man. I think the man is what's being referred to as the house from where it had came. And that's when he's going to take it will take other spirits with it. And then the man's circumstance is going to be worse than it was before, because before he had 1 evil spirit, now there are 8. Talk to me in the chat, guys. Everton, good morning. How are you doing? Bless up yourself. Where is Cad? Cad, where are you? Let me continue reading this Bible here. We are on Matthew chapter 12 and I'm going to read verse 45 again. "Then he goes and takes with himself 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. Even so shall it be also unto this wicked generation." So the same way how the Bible describes how the spirit If the spirit is cast out of a man, it's the same thing with a generation, with this generation. If a spirit, evil spirit is cast out, it's going to wander around, not find any place to go. It's going to return to this generation with seven other spirits. So now the wicked spirit is back eightfold, because it went out one but comes back with seven more, making it eightfold to cause nothing but utter destruction. I wonder if them eight spirit that upon through generation right now. I wonder if it is roaming in the world right now, because boy oh boy, it really does seem like our state of affairs right now is worse than it was several generations ago. Who agree with me? Well, you all don't have to, but anyway. It seems like it. Don't you all think, guys? I think the circumstances of the world today is at such a low that if compared to the Bible and compared to this particular story, it would seem as though there are eight demons that have been unleashed on us with all that is happening, with all that is going on, with all the evil that has enveloped us. It just seems as though this is what is happening. But let us continue. Let us continue reading. Verse 46 says, while he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without. And you know, in the Bible, when it says stood without, that means they stood outside. Okay. While he was talking to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren, that's his brother, stood without, desiring to speak with him. So his mother and his brother were outside, waiting to talk to him. Then one said unto him, behold, your mother and your brothers stand outside. They want to speak with you. But he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother? And who is my brother? And he stretched forth his hand towards his disciples and said, behold, my mother and my brethren. Oh, really? So he claimed the disciples to be his mother and his brethren? To be his mother and his brother? Really? All right, let us continue. There has to be more to that. Verse 50, this is the last verse of chapter 12. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. Oh, okay. Okay. So you all get what happened there. So as he was preaching to the people, his mother, we know that his mother, as we know it, was Mary, and his brother was James. Okay. So his mother and his brother came to talk with him, and they were waiting outside of the synagogue. And the people said to him, your mother and your brother are outside waiting to talk to you. He says, my mother and my brother? Who are my mother and my brother? He stretched forth his hand to indicate to the people that these are my mother and brothers and sisters, the people who are here who are choosing to follow me. So I'm wondering if at that time his mother was not following him and his brother James. I wonder. It didn't say that, but it makes me wonder based on the presentation of the text. But I don't know. I'm not sure yet, because I don't remember having ever read that Mary, his mother, was against his preaching and his teaching and was not following him. I never read of that. But here he says, my mother, my brother, these people right here in the synagogue who choose to follow me are my mother, brother, and sister. That sounded a little bit dismissive to me, but we're not going to hold it. We're not going to hold it against him. We are going to continue to read and see what else the Bible has to say. Because remember, we are reading this Bible here without judgment. We're just trying to understand the written words of it and the context in which the words were spoken, who spoke them, to whom they were speaking, and what were the circumstances surrounding the utterances. All right. So with that, we are going to move on into chapter 13. So chapter 13 is a little bit long, but we are going to take our time. We are not in any hurry. It's been 2.5 years we've been reading the Bible. The longest part is gone. So we're going to take our time. We're not in any rush. St. Matthew chapter 13. The same day went Jesus out of the house, and he sat by the seaside, and great multitudes were gathered together around him, so that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore. And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places, where they had not much earth. And forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched. And because they had no root, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. But others fell into good ground, and brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. Oh, that's interesting. That's rather interesting. So you all get that, guys? So Jesus spoke to the people in parables, like what I'm telling you here. You learn to pick sense out of nonsense. And the disciples asked him why he talked to the people in parables. You hear what his response was? Well, you have been given the gift to understand what I am saying, but they haven't. So I have to break it down so that they can understand exactly what I mean or what I'm talking about. Verse 12 says, For whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away even that he hath. That's interesting. That's interesting. We're going to read that again. For whosoever hath, so if you have a lot, to him shall be given. So you're going to get more, and he shall have more abundance. But whoever hath not, so whoever have nothing, from him shall be taken away even that which he has. What is he talking about there? Because if I'm supposed to take it out context, why would those who have be given more and those who have nothing, why would it be taken away from them? The nothing that they have, the little that they have, to leave them desperate and destitute. I'm not sure. So I'm just going to put a little mark here. I might find clarification about that as we continue to read. Verse 13. Therefore, speak I to them in parables, because they seeing see not. What? Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing see not. Well, that sounds like Bible language. You're looking on, like Garnet Silk say, you're looking on but not seeing. Your belly full but they're starving. Something like that. He says, Winsome, good morning, how you doing? He says, because they seeing see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which says, by hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see, and shall not perceive. For this people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, converted, and I shall heal them. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. For verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them. Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom, and understands it not, then cometh the wicked one, and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which received seed by the wayside. But he that received the seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy received it. Yet hath he not root in himself, but dureth for a while. For when tribulation or persecution arise because of the word, by and by he is offended. Winsome, how are you doing? Sister Desireen is here. Let me see who else is here. Katerina and Trudy, Bronze and Asia. Welcome, guys. Cad is here as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are currently reading the book of St. Matthew, chapter 13. We're going on to verse 22. He also that received seed among the thorns is he that hears the word, and the care of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becomes unfruitful. But he that received seed into the good ground is he that heareth the word, and understand it, which also bears fruit, and brings forth some 100-fold, some 60, and some 30. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat, and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hath it tares? He said unto them, An enemy hath done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, Nay, lest while he gather up the tares, he root up also the wheat with them. That was another parable there. That was another parable there from Jesus. You know, if a man plants his field, you plant your field with good wheat, and then during the night, the enemy comes in and he sows amongst your wheat. He sows some enemy weed, enemy weed seed he sows there, and now the wheat and the tares are growing together in the field. Here it says the servants gone out in the field and noticed that not just wheat was growing in the field, but also weeds was growing amongst them. And they said to their master, Look, didn't we only plant wheat? But now look, there is weeds growing among it as well. Should we rip out these weeds? And the master said, No. It's clear that the enemy has planted these weeds among our wheat. But don't root them up, because if you root them up, you might also end up rooting up the wheat as well. So let them grow together. So when they grow together, this is my understanding, guys. When they are mature, it will be easier to remove the wheat safely. If you try to remove it when they are all young and the roots haven't yet been well established, then you run the risk of not just weeding up the unwanted weeds, but also destroying the wheat as well. That's a parable. That's a parable that can be applied to just about any situation. Let us continue with the reading. Verse 27. We're going to read that again. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hath it tares? He said unto them, An enemy hath done this. The servants said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, Nay, lest while he gather up the tares, he root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. Okay, see, same thing I was saying. Let each grow together. Let them both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, Gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is like to a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field, which indeed is the least of all seeds. But when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs, and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches. Another parable he spake unto them, The kingdom of heaven is like unto leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal, till the whole was leavened. All these things spake Jesus unto the multitude in parables, And without a parable spake he not unto them. Okay, so everything he spoke in parables. So those people were versed into picking sense out of nonsense and understanding what he was saying, though he was speaking sort of figuratively. Card says, because the weed attaches its root to the tares, evil can't exist without good. Yeah, that's an interesting interpretation of it. That evil can't, that's interesting. I wasn't thinking of it that way. I wasn't thinking of it that way. I was thinking in terms of maturity of thoughts and actions. That's interesting, Kat. I like that. If there, like the book that I am reading now, that book by Mark Manson, the one that I started reading online yesterday, if there is no good, there wouldn't be any evil because there would not be an antagonizing force for good that would be called evil. If there were no up, there would be no down. If there were no in, there would be no out. It seems like everything in life has to have this opposing force to maintain the balance. So when you say good cannot exist without evil, I perfectly understand. Not only can't it exist without evil, it cannot be observed, it cannot be recognized. Because you cannot recognize that somebody has done something good unless you are also conscious of what the opposite of that would be. So I like that card. We are going to continue, guys. Those of you who are just coming, your feet are a little bit short, but we welcome you nonetheless. Thank you for stopping in. We are currently reading the book of St. Matthew, chapter 13. Let us continue, verse 34. All these things spake Jesus unto the multitude in parables, and without a parable he didn't speak with them, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things which have been kept secret from the foundation of the world. Then Jesus sent the multitude away and went into the house, and his disciples came with him, saying, Declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. So they wanted Jesus to explain to them what he was talking about the wheat and the tare. Because apparently they did not understand it too well and they wanted a better understanding of it. So they asked him to explain it to them. Verse 37, he answered and said unto them, He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked ones. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. Oh, that's interesting. As therefore the tares are gathered and burnt in the fire, So shall it be in the end of this world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hidden in a field, which when a man hath found, he hides, and for joy thereof goes and sells all that he has, and buys that field. That's smart. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls, who, when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had, and bought it. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea, and gathered of every kind. Verse 48, which, when it was full, they drew to shore and sat down, and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away. So shall it be at the end of the world. The angel shall come forth, and sever the wicked from among the just, and shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Jesus said unto them, Have ye understood all these things? They said unto him, Yes, Lord. Then said he unto them, Therefore every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is a householder, which brings forth out of his treasure things new and old. And it came to pass that when Jesus had finished these parables, he departed from there. And when he was come into his own country, or he wasn't in his country at that time? Oh. And when he was coming to his own country, he taught them in their synagogue, insomuch that they were astonished, and said, Whence hath this man this wisdom, and these mighty works? Well, let me see what God is saying in the chat. God says, let the pastors them continue to teach continue to teach their false gospel. Let the pastors them continue teaching their false gospel. In the end, they will be exposed when he separates the sheep from the goats. You got it. You got it. These pastors are preaching for no preaching. They're preaching for money. These pastors, you ever hear no one of them preaching without telling you to sow your seed, sow your seed, sow your seed? You got a little money in the bank. You got a little money in a some kind of fund. You got a little money here, sow it here. So like, and people pick up them good money and give to these grifters who take it and buy big house and big land, send their kids to the best schools, buy big aeroplane, buy big this, big that, living like kings, while the people who giving them money living like dogs. Like, nobody hold them down and take the money from them, but people think that they can buy their way into some kind of a celestial housing scheme. Instead of living this one life that they get, they think otherwise. Hear he, I say nay, nay. God, what did you say? He would not be he would not be respected in his own country. Okay. But the thing I was saying is, even if I thought all this preaching was going on in Israel, but which country did he go to? Because I don't remember reading it here. Which country did he go to, Cad? He said he returned to his own country. I'm not sure. But I'm sure with the Bible, the way we read it, they accept they accept credit cards, Zelle, Venmo, Cash, Apple Pay, and oh yes. These pastors be telling you pull out the money from wherever you have. You forget PayPal. They be telling their congregants to get the money from wherever they can get it from. Go beg it, go borrow it. I was listening to one last night. He tell the people they must plan for their offering. They must plan for the money they coming to drop in church. They must plan for it. On Sunday, they must make a plan for the week. Don't just come to church and dip in your bag and find some loose change to drop in the offering bucket. You need to plan for it and say, okay, this $100 is for Sunday night. This $100 is for Monday night. This $100 is for Tuesday. Thursday night, you need to plan to double, because on Friday now, you're gonna get a blessing for the Sabbath. Like, seriously. Some poor people them can't even find $100 for themselves, let alone to be planning to find money every night to come drop in in church basket. And church is the richest institution in this world, and they hoard all that tax-free money. Yet still, they minimally contribute to any social upliftment of the people. Me don't understand. I really don't understand. The churches these days seems like more of a disappointment than anything else. Believe me, that's the way I feel. Because especially in the black community, where black people are so connected to their faith, so connected to a church. No matter what kind of church, they are so invested in these churches, dropping offering left, right, and center. And yet, our communities suffer the most. You know, social services are lacking, hunger. Um, there's just so much that's going on. And for us to contribute so much to the richest institution, how comes we not get back nothing? Yeah, how comes? I mean, I think the churches need to invest more into the community. They need to. But it's just a grab and go. It's a grab and go. Them just collect money, collect all, but them a put money in a God coffers. God tell them to say more money. God don't need no money. We don't bring all this everything into the storehouse. You're not supposed to have in the storehouse till it's flowing over while the people out there suffering. Come on now. I think they got to do better. That's my opinion. I think the churches need to do better in helping the communities that serve them. They need to serve the communities more. People not just want some almost expired can of food and some worn out old clothes. That's not what people need. People need to be accommodated into areas that is going to uplift their lives. Help the children go to school. Help the children get a degree so that they can help themselves. And in turn, they will be able to contribute meaningfully to the church. But when the young people feel ignored, they feel unseen, they feel as though I mean, they don't exist. They grow up in the church. They see their parents in church throwing offering day and night, growing up in the church, and when they see their parents need help, there is no church. It causes them to become despondent and become non believers. Because, after all, the people who are controlling the finances of the churches do not count these individuals as being important enough. But I say they should change their way of thinking, because imagine a church has, say, I'm going to say 50, has 50 young people in the church. If this church decides that we are going to use the collection to ensure that all 50 of these individuals in the church are assisted with their education to help them to be independent individuals, don't you think that these 50 people, if they got the help they need from the church, that will increase their loyalty to the church? So not only would the church be helping these 50 people, they will also be helping any children that these 50 people might have. And also it could be a retention strategy for these people to remain in the church, because they are so grateful for what the church has done for them. They can see some benefit from the church. But when people are growing up in the church and contributing to the church all their lives, and then they think they get nothing back, they're going to leave. And that's what I believe is causing the exodus of young people out of churches. And because they are no longer following the rules of the church, or being diligent in their following of the rules of the church. And when I say the church, I don't mean just one church. I mean any religious institution of which you are a part, or you were raised a part of. And when you find that you are pouring into the church all of this, and you are not getting anything tangible back, they're telling you, oh, God will give you a blessing. Yes, you will be just fine. Just pray to God and He will take care of you. So here you contribute to the church all that you have earthly, and in return, the church promises you a blessing from above, a blessing also for which you got to pray for. While the church has the money that is supposed to, that has the ability to help you in this life, yet they don't. They take your visible and give you the invisible. They take your practicality and give you impracticality. You see the difference? See what I'm talking about? And I don't like that. No, I don't like that at all. And I talk about it all the time. And with how rich the church is, more young people should be helped from the church. That's my view. I don't think the church does enough for all the money it collects. All of these new people talking about they are preaching this prosperity gospel, collecting all this money. They have hotlines where people are calling you on the phone, telling you, sow a seed, sow a seed. Do you have a little money in the Cashapp? Do you have a little money in this? Send us this, send us that. Every mickle make a muckle. Everything, nothing is too little for the house of God. Oh yeah? You're being brainwashed. They take that money and what do they give you? Oh, we are going to send you a pamphlet. You give them $1,000 and they send you a pamphlet that didn't even cost a penny to print, telling you how much you're gonna go to heaven for having given it to them, and it's better for it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to go to heaven. So why are they so determined to be rich then? If they know that it is easier for a camel to go to the eye of a needle than for a rich man to go to heaven, why are they so determined to be rich off of your back? They don't have heaven on their mind. Oh, so only you are supposed to have heaven on your mind. Think about it, guys. I'm not here to dissuade anybody from their religion. I'm just saying that for the way especially Black people have contributed to religion, I think religion should contribute more to us. Just saying. Just saying. Cad says, so you plant in your yard, but you reap in your neighbors. Yeah. I bet. You put all this money in the church, but when the reaping time comes, there is nothing there for you. Pastor already driving his Lamborghini. Pastor already have his airplane. I was watching a thing the other day. I was watching somebody's video the other day, and in the video they were saying that some time ago, that man out there in Texas who preaches a prosperity, he's one of those prosperity pastors. He has one of the biggest congregations. He has a whole stadium. A stadium he had acquired and converted into a church over there in Texas. You look at him, you see grifter on his face. You look at him and the way just the way he smiles, you can see that he's laughing at you. And according to the video, he and his wife had been flying on regular plane, had been flying on a commercial jet, and the wife had a meltdown because she did not want to be there with all these people. It did not. Yeah, she is better than this. And so as to appease his wife, he buy a jet. He bought a jet so his wife can travel in comfort. And then he's going to say that you got to spread the word of God, flying around the world to spread the word of God, while people right there in Texas, hungry and homeless, and them will talk about flying around the world to spread the word of God. These people are grifters. These people are, I tell you. But let us finish reading the last of this. Well, when some say, I want to see you more in the morning. Winsome, how are you doing, Sister Winsome? Good to see you again, as always. As always. Thanks for the loves and the likes, guys. Guys, me notice you want to come in the live. I don't know, stay here the whole time. And when the live done, I me look. Of all of you come in, 2 likes. You think it's easy? Overton, you've been on my mind. Good morning, Overton. How are you doing, my love? Good to see you. Good to see you. As always, my love. Happy Wednesday to you, my dear. Happy Wednesday. All the time. Overton is such a pure soul. Happy Wednesday to you, Overton. I hope you feel better. God, Winston says she wants to see you more. You are so welcome, my darling Overton. You are so welcome, my love. Overton, we've been reading here. We've been reading here Matthew chapter 12 and 13. We are almost at the end of chapter 13. But may I have to stop and do a little bit of an analysis of what I'm reading and how it relates to our lives today. I'm feeling better at work. Wonderful, wonderful. Feeling better is always a good thing. When some said, Trev, you're gone 12K, congrats. Thank you, Winsome. Thank you, Winsome. I'm not even barely look over there because I have my views keep going up, 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 up. I mean, I get no pay over there. So therefore, make it view when I'm going to view what is there. Come and I get paid, so I'm not stress out myself. I stress out myself. But I appreciate everybody who has been coming and subbing. When them start paying me again, me come back, make more effort. Me not have no free time and free money I get to YouTube chat, please. Give me a break. But let us continue. We are on to St. Matthew chapter 13 and verse 55. Is not this the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary, and his brother James and Joseph and Simon and Judas? Oh, really? Mr. Winsome, exactly, Winsome. Of course, yes. Of course, yes. When I was making, like $20, $30 or whatever, it don't matter. I was glad for it because I used it to super chat and to give back and stuff. But me not get not even penny. No, me not stress out myself. Not at all. When them change, when they start paying me, then we can talk. Right, Winsome? Yeah. So here in Matthew chapter 13 and verse 55. It says, is not this the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary, and his brothers James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas? So Jesus did have 4 brothers. Only know that, people. I only did hear of James. But Jesus did have 4 brothers. Jesus did have a brother named Judas. Oh. So these were apparently Mary's children that she had with Joseph. Okay. And his sisters, are they not all with us? So who are his sisters? Whence then hath this man all these things? And they were offended in him. But Jesus said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, save in his own country and in his own house. And he did not many mighty works there because of their unbelief. Okay. But they say, and his sisters. So, who are his sisters? Chef Blacks, bless up yourself. Who were his sisters? Can them say, and his sisters, but them not name the sisters. I guess as we read along, we might see. Oh, but he had 4 brothers. All right. Okay. So now I learned something. Because I've only remembered James. Yeah, I didn't remember. I didn't know about the others. Only James. So now we know, guys. I'm going to write it down. Matthew chapter 13 and verse 55 says Jesus had brothers James, Joseph, That Joses, Simon, and Judas. And that's interesting. And it says, and he has sisters too, but I didn't see the names of any sisters. Wow. Okay. All right. That is where we end. That is where we end the reading for this morning. Um, we're not going to read tomorrow. We are not going to read tomorrow because by the time I get off work, it's going to be like 8:39. So we're not going to read the Bible tomorrow. Maybe Friday morning, maybe if I get off early enough. If I get off before 8:39, I might. But Saturday morning for sure. For sure. Maybe we'll come back Saturday morning and read. Yeah, Saturday morning. We will come back and finish and continue the reading of the book of Matthew. All right? Trev, when some say it not say brother, it's a brethren. You see, Sister Winsome, that is why you see the context. That is why I say I always read with context. Okay? Now, as we have been following the reading, the word brethren in the Bible is used simultaneously with the word brother. But the context of the reading will tell you whether they are talking about brethren as in tribal brethren or congregational brethren, or they're talking about brethren as in brother. Right here, they are talking about the latter. That's brethren as in brother. Because you notice they also refer to his mother Mary, and his brethren. When they are talking about brethren of the congregation, that's in a different context. So right here in Matthew chapter 13 and verse 55, the brethren they're talking about are his brothers, his mother's sons. God says they are naming his family. Yes, they are. Now, earlier in the reading, you remember when they said to him that his mother and his brethren were outside. His mother and his brother is outside waiting for him, you know. And when he says his brethren, these are his brethren. So you get the context from that he's calling the people in the congregation his brethren, and also the person is reporting to him that the brethren is outside with his mother waiting for him. We understand that that's his brother out there waiting for him. So the two words are used simultaneously. They're used interchangeably, I should say. It's just the context that will tell you whether or not it is a blood brother or a tribal brother, a congregational brother. Fair enough? I think I explained it, my understanding of it. Anybody have any objection? All right. Then if there's no objection, we all agree. Yes, God, that's nice. Yeah, I realized interchangeably was the word I was searching for. Okay, guys, so do you all understand what I'm saying? All right. If you don't, go ahead, take the time to read it for yourself. To read it for yourself and get your understanding of it. But that is how I understand the two words to mean. Okay, that is where we are going to end the reading for this morning. That is where we are going to end the Bible reading for today. When we come back on Saturday, today is Wednesday. When we come back on Saturday, we will continue with the reading of the Bible. I want to say thanks to everybody who has come into the live, everybody who has stopped by for the first time. If you have not yet subscribed or hit the like button, now is a good time to do so. And to all my returning travelers, I want to say thank you for your continued support. Thanks to all the newbies who has come. You all have been contributing significantly to my watch time and my subscriptions. I appreciate y'all, guys. I appreciate y'all. Thank you all so much. My dear Overton and O'Brien and the others who are here, Richie, Cadwin, some Desreen, AG, Andrea, Joseph, and the others who come in but wish not to say a word, that is perfectly fine with me. But thanks to everybody, no matter how large or small your contribution is to my online presence. I sincerely appreciate you. But that's going to be it from me for this morning, my friends. Until next time, this is Trev from Trevessence, where your journey matters. Now, have yourselves a great day, guys, and I will see you all later. Have a good one, everybody. Where's the Joe Bex with me? Joseph, all right, man. Joseph, all right. I know how to soothe him. No worry yourself. Right boot is in the place. Right boot on the left foot is in the place. Good morning, my friend. What's up? How you doing? Good to see you. You coming? Me just have finished read up the Bible. Read people in Bible. How you been? Happy Wednesday to you. You're chill. All right. All right. That's always a good thing. That's always a good thing. Thanks for the loves. Thanks for the likes, guys. Winter, when I'm done, I got text Joseph when me done. See what I'm doing, because I think he's probably gonna work. We will see. Me and Joseph can make it up. Right, Overton? We can always make it up with each other. Just one look was all it took. That's Charlie Chaplin. Oh, who is God? What you mean by me a friend him up with some? That with some your instigator, no. What you mean by me a friend him up? Some of must friend him up. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna text Joseph when I'm done. Now mess with me and Joseph, Later, Andrea. See you all, guys. Have yourselves. With some, easy. See you all later, my friends. Damian and everybody else. I will see you all later. Have yourselves a great day, guys. Every time me I come off of the live, that's where the people them a come. But right now I got to go. I gotta hit the road. So I'll see you all later, guys.